very good day to you and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jadil Kabir. I'm so happy, excited that you've joined us for political conversations. This conversation is simple, truthful with Herman Manyora, putting them across in a hard-hitting way. How are you doing today, sir?
Good.
Wonderful Monday, isn't it?
Wonderful.
Talking about the state of the country, you're part of the civil servants. Have you been paid?
I've been paid.
So you this government...
The little that was coming my way, it has come.
It has come.
Yes.
I want to talk about this conversation of handshake, this conversation of political stability from what David Ndii tweeted. I have news for you. The first obligation of government is survival and political stability. The more the dynasties foment destabilization, the more we will have to spend on political capital. If push comes to shove, handshake is always an option. How much do you think it will cost, though? Let's start from there. Rigathi Gachagua has been saying there will be no handshake, there will be no conversation as it was with President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. Is this where we are heading? Because this comes from the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors.
You know, but in the hierarchy, Gachagua is higher than Ndii. So if Gachagua says it should override what Ndii is saying. But that notwithstanding, two things. Number one, always, people don't start by saying yes, they say no. So what Gachagua is saying is normal. People say no, but finally say yes. It's normal. Second, and I think more important, the president of this country is, I don't know whether you know him. What is his name?
William.
Is it Gachagua?
William Ruto.
Is it Gachagua?
No.
Oh. So the decision will come from Ruto, not Gachagua.
I'm saying if David Ndii says this, does this mean this is probably a conversation that is happening in government? Because he asks, how much will it cost, though? Does this mean there is already this conversation? Of
there could be a conversation, or he, as an intellectual, he can see. He can see. There are those of us who can see. That looks to be where we could be headed. Yeah.
Doesn't matter what Rigathi says.
No.
Ndii says.
Even Rigathi could also
says.
know. But just digging in, because he will be the first casualty.
Casualty, in what
of course.
way?
That's how. Something must give. Something must give way. It's just normal.
I don't think.
Please, I know in primary school, take water and put it in a container, open container, like Kega. Then take a stone and put inside. What happens? Some water is displaced. Yeah.
So this means.
And the weight of the object is equal to the water displaced. the weight of the water.
So you mean as soon as Raila has this conversation with President William Ruto,
things can remain the same. There will be casualties.
Why can't things remain the same? Because
when Raila went into a coalition government with Kibaki, Kalonzo was a victim. It's normal. What's wrong with you, my friend? Yeah. If Raila went into some sort of cooperation with the Ruto, in whichever form, Rigathi cannot continue enjoying the power he enjoys. He'll be pushed aside. When Raila went into handshake with Ruto suffered. It's normal. So it's a law of nature.
I'm asking, do you mean that if there is...
When a man marries another wife, the first wife doesn't get everything.
I'm asking, does this mean that this conversation will obviously be about power in government too, not just about the people?
Everything is about power. In a nutshell. What is there anything other than power? This is one power, two power, three power. It's just about power. Yeah.
So it's right for people to assume then that Raila wants this conversation so that they can have a stake in Ruto's administration. Is it right for someone to assume
that? You can assume if you want. But what Raila would be looking for is the power to run government. He believes he believes he was denied that power unfairly through a corrupted system. So he's fighting to correct the system so that he may now be the one with the power to run the government. But in negotiations, you start there, but you could end up somewhere lower.
I know they'll take this and put them in articles, what you've said today, that Raila is probably looking for power in government.
Not in government, power to run government. You look to displace somebody, that stone. He would want to displace Ruto and take over government. That's what he wants. Because if a man says, open the servers, in there my victory is there, what does he say? He said, open the servers, my victory is there, you vacate State House, I get state power, and help the people of Kenya solve the problems that are facing them now, including high cost of living. But that's what Raila is saying. It's not me saying. You are now putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm just listening to you and I'm asking you if that is what you're actually saying.
But now, as a person who can interpret and analyze things I'm saying, that's where it always starts. It could end anywhere below there or above there.
Okay.
He could miss it and Ruto, somebody else could take.
Yeah.
You see, once you make this thing messy, because nobody can leave state power just like that. You think Ruto can just open servers? It has to be a situation you create. And that situation could lead to Raila taking over power. Or Ruto could maintain his power. Or a third party can take the power.
Third party.
Because you have tossed it up there. What we are doing is taking it and tossing up there. There's no guarantee Ruto will take it or Raila will get it. Somebody else can get it. Manyora can get it.
This is why now there's this fresh demand from Rigathi Gachagua that for there to be a conversation, there must be, as you said, must agree that Ruto is the legitimate.
It always starts like that. Again, everywhere in the world. When the issues of legitimacy are being addressed, when there is a problem in the country after elections, or when power has changed hands, and people are saying you are not the person to get the power. From ancient times, of course, then people used to fight. But today people sometimes talk. So in the talking, people say, this power you occupy is not legitimate. Can you please vacate? Can we open the servers? Then we have one, then you go, take a walk. But no man ever accepts that. So the other side now says, there are many things we can talk about. But before we sit down, you must recognize we are the government. That's how it starts. So it's a no-brainer.
So
it's a template.
When people tell you don't tell them to talk, they first open the servers, you already know they cannot have that conversation. About
That's not an easy conversation to have. If anybody from Azimio is hoping that Ruto will just say, okay, yeah, the servers, let's open, they must be very naive and childish for that matter. You think Ruto can just open the servers, then he says, okay, Raila, let me take a walk back to Rugoi. It doesn't work like that anywhere in the world. The temperatures must be generated and hot enough for everybody to see. We must do the following. In the absence of that, if it's just normal negotiations, there's no way Ruto can...
Were the temperatures hot enough before Raila called ceasefire to Mandamano?
That's the kind of temperature that can make somebody open the server. They don't have to like it. Yeah, you don't have to like it. It's the only thing you can do to save the situation. And you won't be the first time to take a walk from State House and let somebody else get in. It's happening in the UK all the time.
Yeah, prime ministers.
Yeah, all the time. Okay. Gale mama uliona akilia.
Liz Truss.
She tried to read a statement, but towards the end she was crying as she was rushing in. Yeah, but you leave.
When you look at now Raila Odinga from where he sits now, it's been a week of trying to form a kind of conversation with this other side, right? Ruto has refused multi-partisan talks. Right now it's all about bipartisan. When you look at Raila from where he sits, can he be able to get some of his demands met, especially the two when it comes to IEBC and cost of living? Will he be able to take Ruto to that side?
Once people get to talking, once they agree to go on some table, everybody will come out with something. Again, standard. Somebody will come out with something.
What is your...
Hakuna mtu atatoka mikono tupu. Na hakuna mtu atatoka na ile alitaka yote. Then those are not negotiations.
What is that one thing you'd want to be addressed when it comes to these negotiations? Because it's now about cost of living and IEBC.
All these things I've
been talking... What is that
one
thing that is
I've been on Spice FM and I was saying this morning, I said two things. Number one, we need a national conversation. You can call it bipartisan, you can call it multi-partisan, you can call it polypartisan, you can call it what you want to call it. But we need a national conversation. Kenyans must sit together and talk. The second thing is that all these problems arise out of bad politics. So like Kwame Nkrumah said, seek ye first the political kingdom and all else shall follow. Seek ye first
the political kingdom.
Unless we fix our politics, we will never do anything. We will remain a dirty, poor third world country. At independence, we identified 3 major problems: ignorance, poverty, and disease. We are still there. In some instances, we are even worse. Because I went to hospital, government hospital, got treated, got all the medicine I needed for free. Now you can die because you can't go to hospital. So we are still behind in matters of health. Maybe education, we have tried a bit. Poverty, we are almost worse. So the challenges we face today are caused by one major challenge, which is getting our politics right, which I think is what Uhuru and Raila were talking about in the handshake. Let us face our demons. Let us do our politics right. Once we do our politics right, let every Kenyan feel they are part of this country. Unless you do that, it does not matter how long it will take. We shall have to sort out this thing, our children or their children. We will sort out this thing in a bad way.
David D says the main obligation is survival and political stability.
Yes.
Do you think that is what Uhuru did? First term played survival, second term political stability, and how different should things play?
You know, those are temporal. If you are looking for political stability in a temporal way, you can succeed. You can go into handshake, you can bribe people, you can do all manner of things. That is a false stability because it is temporal. If you are looking for political survival, you can buy members of parliament, you can be very generous. Wherever you go, you give people money.
50 years.
You can give people jobs. You can get the opposition man and compromise with him, share government, have a handshake with him. All these things are tactics for survival. But I am looking at something sustainable. I'm looking at Kenya in another 100, 200 years. So that national conversation is to ensure when we leave this country, those of us who are my age, we leave our children in a country where they can coexist peacefully.
Can this conversation happen with the representatives of the people, the parliamentarians? Rigathi Gachagua was saying, who is Raila? Who is he really in this country? What are parliamentarians?
You know, Gachagua is okay. Who is Raila? But the same can be asked, who is Gachagua?
I think he's the deputy president.
Which is deputy president of what? Of a poor country that cannot even pay salaries to people. To be president of a country like that, and I've told people, some people stop me and ask me, well, you are too hard on people. I've asked people, even being president of such a poor, dirty country, GDP yetu ni pesa ngapi? What is our national budget in dollars? It is a country. This is a useless place. So if I see somebody is a minister or a deputy president, you are trying to think you are important. You are just a small person. If you go where men are sitting in London, nobody will give you a seat. Nobody even recognize you. But you see South Africa today, BRICS, South Africa wako pale. The BRICS countries are threatening the G7, G8.
So much behind South Africa.
Somebody like Turkey, that guy of Turkey, he has pushed his country into being recognized. Brazil, a bus driver is the one who set Brazil on the path. The first B in BRICS is Brazil.
Yes.
The countries that are shaking the world today. Soon the dollar will be running away. You know, but if you are in a country that is begging everything, people are dying of hunger. Now with rain, people are dying from floods. After the floods, people are dying from drought. And you tell me you are anything in this country? This is a poor country. To be anything like a minister is nothing. They should strive to put this country on the map so that when you say I'm a minister from Kenya, people stand up. Say, how is Kenya? But now when you say I'm from Kenya, people look the other side. The only reason why they are listening to you is they have exploitation. They have things to exploit us. They will have to sell us rubbish to keep jobs in their place. Okay? They will have come and do useless jobs here. They will come and do projects here that are grossly overcosted, poorly done. They need that. So they will give you, they will shake you. But when you leave, they go and wash their hands.
So you say you don't really need to recognize Raila. All of us are almost in the same level.
Yeah, so you say who is Raila and who are you?
So this conversation.
But if you went, again, it's also good to be fair, because being a deputy president is a big thing.
Yeah.
But if you went somewhere and Raila was there in New York, who will get a chair? In a hall, just there was a meeting.
Okay.
Now on what is called the sidelines of a meeting. Everybody will be crowding where Raila is. Big people, presidents of the world, UN, heads of UN agency. Wanakuwa wanaenda pale mai Raila anakunywa chai na wewe utabaki kwa kona peke yako. So you need to be reminded you are small.
This conversation, I'm asking about the place of Raila in this conversation and them saying that this can only happen in parliament. Do you think this is a demand that can be given in?
They are justified. They are justified at this stage to say that. Because the important thing, we have agreed to talk. When we agree to talk, we are going through the first phase of denial, of unreasonable demands, of hardened positions. It is the normal path. It's a template, I'm telling you. Soon, we shall enter another phase. And then another. And then you have Mikhail Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan not calling themselves Mr. President and sitting there and here. They are now sitting closer, having tea near, even physically.
Yeah.
And Reagan is calling Mikhail Gorbachev Mike.
My friend.
Yeah, my friend, my brother. It's normal. What one end that you go slowly. You break the ice. The hostilities begin to diminish. Then you begin to talk. Even you remove the aids. Now you even remain. Ruto is there. Raila is here. They say, now, by the way, Raila, you are being too much, bwana. Wacha mambo mingi we mzee, bwana. You have helped this country, but now where it has gotten. Wacha yo, come on. Yeah? Na Raila na Akini, where now Kenyans are dying because of you. Oh, no, we shall do something about it. And this IBC, when they come out, white smoke. That's why it is important that they have agreed to talk. That's what I'm buying myself. That's good enough for me.
Doesn't matter.
I wouldn't ask for more for now.
Say.
For now, I will not ask for more. But the Rigathi Gachagua, they are free to say what they are saying, except they can spoil it. They can.
There's always room for
You know why I'm saying they can spoil it? And I wish people to tell Rigathi Gachagua, tell Raila, tell Ruto. I know they are too big to be watching me. Those who watch me and can reach Ruto, Gachagua, Raila and the rest, tell them the way the world is moving today, the world, not Kenya, and the way Kenyans are suffering, na hii kionjo tu ya mshahara imeanza na mambo ingine, they can lose the citizens. They should not think this thing is going to be played at the level of Raila, Ruto, Gachagua and the rest. The citizens can get tired of them, both of them. Both the Casimiro and Kenya, people can get tired and demand what is theirs. At that point, we shall have lost our country.
And we ought not to get there.
And we should not get there. Therefore, while these talks are being organized, let us be mindful of what we say. Let Gachagua watch his language. Let Raila watch his language. Let Ruto, as president, there are certain things you don't say now, because you are giving peace a chance. This is very delicate. One false step, we lose it. Because let me tell you this, finally. If people had to go back to the streets, I'm sure the intelligence will know this. If people had to go back to the streets, two things. Number one, the police will not manage them, because they have seen how the police are working. Number two, they will not listen to Raila. They will not listen to Raila. And I'm telling you, they will not listen to Raila. The last Mandamano serves to show what I'm saying is right. After Raila left and went to Karen, what happened? Those sides. People continued rioting, looting and whatever. I don't know who they were, but there was people have suffered damages. Shops were broken into. Sinikweli. After Raila had left.
Yeah.
If you call them back to the streets, you'll think you are going back to Karen. They will continue the whole night and the following day. And that time we shall not have a country. And for that reason, we must give these talks a chance. And there's no better way than acting in good faith and watching what we say as leaders. So while Gachagua is at liberty to say what he wants and how he wants to say it, he must know that some of the words you utter today could serve to destroy the chances we have of talks. And this country cannot afford that.
This country deserves better.
Because it's too good
to go down. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.